Howdy guys, DJ here from Reptiles and Centuries. In today's video we're going to show you how we set up our hatchlings. I do get a lot of questions asking how we set up our hatchlings. So in today's video we're going to take a closer look of how we do it. And yeah, without further ado, let's go check it out. Okay guys, so in terms of what racking systems and tubs we use, so for our melamine racks and our wooden racks, we've always used Louis from Clicker Pet. I must say Louis' racks have always been in great condition and it's been nothing but spectacular. And over the years his racks has actually become better in a sense of how he's made some improvements and innovations. So as you guys know, unfortunately with the melamine racks and the wooden racks, after some time they do start to swell due to moisture and humidity. So what he's done is actually he's added the AVI plastic sheeting on top of where the tubs slide in. It's actually not very visible and it looks very neat, and this acts like a moisture shield in a sense, and I must say this has really improved the lifetime of the racks. Regarding the tubs, this is our custom made RFC HV1 tubs. So these tubs are actually what I made early in 2020. Fantastic. We used to use clear tubs for our hatchlings, clear 3-liter tubs, and I must say what I've seen over the years, the hatchlings or the ball pythons generally does do better in darker tubs. So with us changing over the hatchlings into the darker tubs, our feeding response has grown very well. So I must say it's a cool tub to have for all of your hatchlings as well. It keeps most hatchlings in a confined space. So you guys can see, like in the racking system of this, we've got 96 hatchlings that we are able to fit in this rack. With the other previous racks we used, we were normally able to keep in the same amount of space 60 hatchlings. So I must say these tubs make a huge difference for saving space as well. Okay guys, so in terms of substrate and water balls and labeling, so what we do is basically for all substrate on our hatchlings we use normal unprinted newspaper. I can actually show you guys a sheet here. So it's basically just a normal piece of paper what we cut. This is just easier for us to clean the hatchlings, and also it ensures that the animals got a great feeding response. What I've seen is cocoa ice is also a good alternative to switch over the hatchlings, but I won't do it instantly. So what we do is we set up all of the hatchlings on paper firstly, and later on, let's say there is a hatchling that doesn't feed as well on paper, we've always got the alternative to switch them over to cocoa ice. And so far I haven't had any problems whatsoever switching the babies over to cocoa ice. All of our babies mostly start feeding on the paper, so in that sense that it works very well. In terms of what we use for water and watering system, so basically we've got the I think it's a 2-ounce Teddy cup here. It's a very small Teddy cup that we use for all of the hatchlings, and all what we do is we use a PVC piping that we cut that's able to fit just around the water cup. So you guys can see it just helps to keep the water ball in place for let's say the hatchling tries to move it around, they're not going to tip the water ball over. So that's one of the tips and tricks I've learned over the years. Unfortunately, you know, the hatchlings are small, but if you just put the deli cup just like that into the cage, they will tip it over. So this is a good way of making sure that the water doesn't spill and you don't have to clean the cage constantly. And then guys, for labels, we've got a small Brother label printer, and we basically print all of our labels. So I can show you guys here. So basically all it's got the species of animal, which is the ball pythons. Then it's got the morph, so each animal's got their own genetics. Then it's got its unique ID in our system, the date of birth or the hatch date, the sire and the dame of the clutch, and then if it's a male and female. And this just helps us to easily identify the snakes. Fortunately we've got a lot of animals, and it's always easier to see on the cage what genetics and from which clutch it came. It also helps myself to, how can you say, learn the animals and also place them in a sense of easier to find them in a sense. So it's easier to have them all visibly on the cage. I know a lot of guys also use just the ID codes, and some people put like the labels inside of the tub. This just makes it hard for myself because now I can just literally look simply at the label and ID the snake and know which animal is in the tub. And it also makes it easier, for instance, if I've got customers over, that we can always easily find the animals. What I found, which is a very important aspect regarding setting up the hatchlings, is the duration after they've climbed out of the egg. So, for instance, normally what I've seen over the last couple of years is the quicker you set up the hatchlings, normally they take longer to start feeding, or some of the hatchlings don't feed as well. So normally with my first clutch of the year, I'm very impatient if I'm going to be honest. I do set up the hatchlings a bit sooner than I would have compared to other clutches. So what I do now is, as soon as all of the babies climb out of the egg, I set them up all in the same tub and wait until they shed out. After they shed out, I try and set them up. What I've seen, this just enables the snake just to absorb all of the yolk, if they still have some yolk to be absorbed, and also just entice the feeding response. So here we've got a beautiful clutch. This was an OD leopard pied head clown male bred to an OD yellow-bellied calico female. And how I ID the animals and how I set them up is I do males first. So I'll do the first male in the clutch, normally the higher end or the most valuable male in the clutch in terms of genetics. I'll put first, and then I'll go from, let's say from the best male to the least best male, and then the same thing with the female. Start with the best female and go to the least best female. So this clutch, unfortunately, were all males, which also makes it a bit easier to set up, but not as well for keeping back animals. So let's start off with the first animal here. So like I said, I always set up the best animal in the clutch first. So here we've got a super OD yellow-bellied leopard calico, 100% head for pied, and he's 50% head clown. So this is a powerhouse male, and I'm super excited to get calico into our pied project and possibly into our clown pied project. I think this is going to be a key project male for us in the near future. So on to the next animal. Here we've got a beautiful OD yellow-bellied leopard. I believe also calico head pied. I'll compare him to OD yellow-bellied leopard without calico now for you guys, and you guys can see the difference. So also a beautiful little male. Right hand side we've got an OD yellow-bellied leopard without any calico. You guys can see the strong head pied markers as well. And then if we add calico to this combo, you guys can see the higher oranges and also the more red orange blushing. Okay, then the third snake is a super OD yellow-bellied calico head pied. Also, how can you say, a very subtle interaction. You guys can see the calico bleeding through, or the yellow-bellied and the calico bleeding through. So also a very awesome animal. I must say, what I'm going to do as well, this clutch is a bit of a hard clutch to ID, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. So what I'll do is I'll also wait a bit of more sheds as the animals age, just to make sure that my IDing is perfectly fine. With some of these genetics, it's getting more complicated as we go. So sometimes we have to, how can you say, get second opinions and also wait till the animals get a bit bigger, just to form a good knowledge regarding the ID of the snake. So far I've got this animal pegged as a super OD yellow-bellied calico head pied. You guys can see the high blushing and orange going on the sides here. So also a little beautiful. And then on to the two animals in the clutch that doesn't have calico in my opinion. Here we've got an OD yellow-bellied leopard head pied posted clown male. I love this male's coloration, and almost looks like a tri-stripe animal in the sense of the three stripes going down, and then also the sides at the side patterning. And that's just one of the interactions between OD and leopard. OD and leopard brings out the striping at the side, so I must say it's a very, very cool animal. Okay guys, and then the last animal, this is just a plain yellow belly. I don't believe he's got orange stream as well, he should have been more bright. So this is just a plain yellow belly head pied posset clown, and I must say it's a very strange looking yellow belly as well. It's definitely got the yellow belly markings. You guys can see the pure white belly and then the sides of the yellow belly bleeding through. So this whole clutch I'm going to wait until they've got a couple of meals in and maybe go through possibly 2 or 3 sheds additional. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys have got any other questions regarding setting up your hatchlings or any general care of the ball python, please feel free to either comment down onto this video or send us either a Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp messenger, and also you guys can email us. I'll put our email and our email contact details down in the description below, so you guys are more than welcome to email me anytime. Guys, like I said, with the ball pythons, we are getting, over the years, it's getting more complex, and sometimes the IDing of the snakes are sometimes difficult. So like for instance with this clutch, I'm not 100% yet sure on all of the IDs on the snakes. That's why I also said I want to wait until either 2 or 3 shades additional, just to make sure that all of the IDing I've got on the clutch is perfectly fine. And guys, I'd love to hear your opinion. If you've got any other video suggestions in the future, please feel free to comment down below. And make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to bring up more content for you guys. And yeah, the future is very exciting. We've got some exciting videos coming up, so stay tuned and make sure to like and subscribe.